So I was tinkering around with ChatGPT for the first time, like, hey, let's throw a retro game collecting question out there. The prompt was like, why do people retro game collect and shelf collect and never play the games? Is it for dopamine hits? Along those lines. I didn't say anything about full set collecting or nothing. And it turns out it elaborated more on what I've been saying and then further in depth. So we'll throw up 1 and 2 on screen here. This basically triggers the reward anticipation in the brain, dopamine flow. Activates dopamine, gives a sense of satisfaction. And then it says here, which is interesting, actually playing the game, especially if it's challenging or time consuming, can reduce the dopamine surge because the novelty is gone. And I've heard someone, I'm not going to name drop, but they said they didn't want to finish collections and they didn't want to follow through and finish things because then that chase feeling would be gone, the anticipation. We'll get into that later. Then here we go with the status and identity signaling. Owning a rare game can signal expertise, nostalgia, and dedication to others in the community. So yeah, we know who those people are. This is more about social reward rather than personal gameplay, right? Because they don't play the games. They got to stand in front of this big shelf and subconsciously signal to their viewers how higher up on the podium they are, because they got all this stuff and you don't. Or if you want to be like them, you got to buy all this stuff. And that's what I don't like about the hobby and the community. And then we got 4 and 5 here. I think I skipped 3. I don't know. I will look. We'll clue in on part 3. I think I got a picture on my phone we'll have to go over. Then we're up here with number 4. The emotional thrill is tied more to the memory or the idea of the game than the gameplay itself. For some, revisiting it doesn't recreate the past experience perfectly. So it's for the feels. Shelf collecting preserves the memory as a snapshot rather than a living experience. I get that. And then here's number 5 where it drops in about the complete set. Collectors often want a complete set or mint condition copies. Opening or playing the game can feel like violating that ideal. The process of hunting and organizing is often more rewarding than the eventual use of the item. So this is the chase I was describing earlier. The hype, FOMO, fear of missing out. So I just went ahead and just typed this in and got some interesting response from ChatGPT, which basically nailed it. And a lot of people don't want to address this phenomenon in the community, and they always try, well, don't do a full set, do a subset. Why do I have to set collect at all? Like, if you had some games from when you were a kid, yeah, get them 5, 10, dozen games or whatever. You don't need to buy hundreds of games. Or, well, as a kid, I had this dream where I needed the full set. If you really want a full set, you can get the full emulator and ROM set and go with your buddies, if you even have buddies to play games with, and you guys can play these games whenever you want. Versus them sitting on a shelf and you're like, oh yeah, my goal is complete, I got all these games. It's just really strange. And I'm not trying to virtue signal, oh, I'm so much better than everybody. I've been there doing this stuff, and I just cut way back. And just have some self-control. Buy some stuff here, and then other things say, no, I don't need this, I'm going to emulate it and actually play it. You got to get out of that trench mindset is what I call it, where you're predictive and you're controlled and you don't even know this. You don't even realize it. So, alright, well, let's see what number 3 says then. I don't have the full thing of number 3. I did not take the screenshot, but it just says scarcity and investment mentality, that people are buying these games because they're under the impression that value is going to go up and it's going to be an investment. I've also touched base on this where people have the fear of missing out and hype about buying all this stuff, and they'll just go out and drop 10 or 20 grand, for example, on these games, right? Then something happens, there's an emergency in the family, or they got a health issue, or something happens, and they need that 20 grand back that they invested in these video games, right? Well, if you need 20 grand right now back from your games you just bought, somebody's not going to give it to you. It's going to take a long time to piece everything out and get the current market value, which may be worth over 20 grand at the current time. But you go to one of these resellers and they're going to buy it back cash money for 50%. So you get 10 grand back and you lose 10 grand. See how that works? So unless you hold on to it for a long time, this is not good investment. I don't know how many people have said, don't buy this stuff as investments. Especially if some of it starts failing, and then, I don't know, people would argue, oh, well, that means it's more scarce because it's going to be less copies since they're failing and breaking. I don't know. Just don't do it. Sort of like gambling. Only buy and spend what you can afford to lose, ultimately.